In this episode of the Denoise podcast, we're going to talk about robot camera operators,
the latest on AI copyright battles,
and an innovative new tool for virtual production from Stage Precision. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back, everyone, to Denoise. Hey. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Welcome back, everybody.
So, first story, I had texted you an image that was going around the other week of Kim Kardashian doing a photo shoot with Tesla robots, and one of the robots was holding either a free fly or some sort of camera stabilizer. It looked like as a prop, and I was like, ha ha ha, look, the robots are operating the camera, ha ha ha, joke. Now that's not the case anymore, because we just saw a demo, not from Tesla robots, but from WPP, partnership with Boston Dynamics. They released this whole video showing how they were using a humanoid robot as a camera operator on set.
So that is direct job replacement of a cinematographer. That is happening right now.
They clarified many times in the video, it is not to replace, it is to augment creativity.
But the robot was the only cinematographer on set. I didn't see
the
a real
robot
one.
was the camera operator.
Okay.
All right. So let's break down this video, but also let's back up a little bit because robots in film production are not new.
No.
We have been using modified industrial robots, the robotic arms.
Like the KUKA or the Bolt.
Right. Mark Roberts Motion Control, a whole fleet of robot arms. We have a whole video of Steve Giralt from The Garage. He has that army of these robot arms. They are great. They can move very fast. They can do repeatable movements. They're used a ton on advertising shoots. They kind of got a resurface recently because they shot the opening sequence of Severance with a variety of these Mark Robert motion control robots. So, and then the behind the scenes clips started going around the internet. And some people were like, robots, cool.
Yeah, my favorite use of robot cinematography was on Kendrick Lamar's Humble video, where it does the quick, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these things are just not humanly possible.
No, you cannot do that anyway. The super fast movements with a high-speed camera, you can just do really crazy moves. So taking this to the next step is a humanoid robot.
Right.
And so WPP had been using the Boston Dynamics, more famous for their dog-looking like robot that's also a bit terrifying.
Yes.
In the way it moves. And there have been adaptations of putting cameras on the dog robots, both for creative uses, but also there's a whole fleet of practical industrial uses for putting cameras on robots for non-cinema things of like surveying or sending robots into dangerous things that are too hazardous or dangerous to send a person.
Yeah.
They've been putting cameras on the dog robots with Boston Dynamics, and then Boston Dynamics was like, well, hey, we've got this humanoid robot.
Right.
Let's see what we can do with that.
And I think they have a new generation humanoid robot. I believe it's called Atlas. They released a video of it recently. And Joey, when I was watching that video, that robot was so elegant and graceful in its movements. It wasn't hunky-junky. It was just like in control of its balance and just precise. I thought it was an Unreal render that was composited on top of the live plate. Yeah. I was like, this can't be real. This robot is just too good.
Yeah, it was moving smoothly. And so the demo video was a robot on a virtual production stage, kind of shooting like a fake car commercial or something. And the robot is holding a like free fly movie rig. Yeah. Stabilizer with the camera.
With two hands.
Yeah, two hands. Just give it the stabilizer and it's just moving around and filming. Wasn't quite clear if it's completely autonomous, if the move was programmed, if there's like a remote operator who's operated in real time. That wasn't quite clear. And I think that opens up the questions too of like, how could we potentially use this? And
like, what are the pros and the cons? Does the robot know what it's shooting, and is it looking at the viewfinder, or is it just walking an arc that
I'm going to guess this was all probably programmed.
I'm going to guess too. It's just too early for that.
I mean, they did talk about too that they're using the NVIDIA real world training model, which we kind of seen more for like car applications, but it's just a model that's an understanding of the real world.
From my understanding, Cosmos is very applicable to humanoid robots because it replicates basically a human vision system. If you and I look around this room, we recognize every single object, and a robot is supposed to do that. But where is it going to get the sophisticated AI model to pull from? And that's what Cosmos is. Having said that, is Cosmos aware of LED tiles,
how
LED
a film set works,
how a film set works, what a viewfinder is?
Dolly track, don't trip on dolly track. Yeah. Right. This is on camera, this is off camera, this is behind this. Like knowing that's something that a crew person knows, where it's like, don't be in front of the camera because you're gonna be in the shot.
Film sets are so complex, especially a VP film set, that you would need its own AI model just to decipher that. Like you would need a Atlas robot that's specifically trained on Cosmos film version of AI.
Yeah, and maybe that is what they're doing, because they said that they are training or working on training additional models or building on Cosmo.
Interesting.
So maybe that's what it is.
So you just feed
build a special data set or training on film set specific stuff.
Yeah, but where do you get all the BTS footage of film sets? You would need thousands of hours of it.
Or I don't know if that's what they're doing by having the robot on set and running through it. I don't know if that's what that means.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, if they want to tell us more about it.
I mean, taking a step back, this is really cool.
It's cool. So at first when I'm watching this, I kept going back and forth between like, this is dumb. And then this is cool. And this is dumb. And this is cool. So in my dumb category.
Yeah, please elaborate.
Dumb category. With a lot of applications, like humanoid robots, they're kind of popular because they look like us, but they're not the best form or shape for doing tasks that we're asking the robots to do. So when I was like, well, a humanoid robot seems kind of silly if you're trying to do something that's like a dolly track, like a robot with like wheels or something seems like, oh, maybe that would make more sense if you're trying to replicate something that could be on set and replicate a dolly with like arm movements.
like Bolt is on some kind of track or wheels.
You can put it on a track, you can put it on wheels, right.
So imagine the Bolt bottom with like a humanoid top. That would make way more sense on set.
Something like that, yeah. Or something bigger or something, I don't know, different, where it's like, I guess it depends on what the shot is. But then I'm thinking more, it was like, well, we're going down these rabbit holes of like these specific use cases.
Right.
The humanoid robot, we know because all the gear is already built for human hands.
Exactly.
So you can just bring it on set. Like with the Bolt, you got to forklift that thing in or some other like use heavy machinery. You got to bolt, like if you're doing the tracks, then you have to like bolt it to the ground.
Yeah.
In some cases, but
it has to be really super big, level and it's massive and heavy.
This thing, I mean, it's not going to do the range. I don't think it could do the same speed as a Bolt, but it can hold up to 20 kilograms, which is about 44 pounds.
That's a huge payload.
Yeah. And it can hold it in awkward spots that
it
for
can
a
hold
camera
it
person
like with its arm out where a human can't probably do that. Most humans can't.
Yeah, and for long periods of time. And it's a robot, so it could have programmable, repeatable movements. And it could, I'm thinking in theory, also being extremely still. So it could tippy-toe left or right. So you could mimic that dolly movement with the robot and still have it locked off super solid.
I wonder what the charge time and sort of the battery life on this thing is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, presumably, too, you could probably run a cable into it. And
yeah,
if you're on set or something. Yeah, so I was going back. So I'm like, okay, well, actually, that does make sense. I saw another shot, too, in the video where the robot was holding the Leica Geosystems RTC LIDAR scanner.
Brilliant.
Which we have a video coming out with a whole deep dive of the scanners. Okay. And so I've learned a lot about them, too. At first, I was like, wait, that seems silly because the LIDAR scanner, you don't move it. You just hold it in place.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, that actually could make sense.
It's a robot. It can stay completely still.
To scan a huge environment, you have to like do multiple setup positions. So you have to have a person with a tripod, plop it down, scan, move the tripod. Yeah. The robot, you give the robot the scanner.
Walk, stand.
You're like, hey, here's the area you got to cover. It just walks, holds it up, freezes for 2 minutes, scans, moves to the next spot.
Brilliant.
Scans. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's very interesting.
I am on the same page with you. I was watching the video and I was like, this is stupid. That's cool. This is dumb. That's cool. So I had my back and forth as well.
Yeah. So what are you seeing with this?
Yeah. So
what came to mind?
I'll just get the dumb thing out of the way first. Like the robot has no freaking clue what it's pointing the camera at. So that is the biggest setback. Like a cinematographer is really valued because of the creative decision that they make with composition, blocking, framing, all that stuff. So that's completely
And the bit
missing.
from like Rob Legato goes in my mind too, where he went on, like in the multiple interviews I've had with him, where he's like talked about the artistic finesse of the camera operator, even in a virtual environment.
Yeah, like every step, every move, every punch in is intentional and it ties back to the creative and the story. And it's beautiful how high-level cinematographers do it. Having said that, what is cool is, let's say you're a YouTuber and you're shooting outside at the Century City Mall, and you have one human cinematographer, but then you need coverage. You need 4 or 5 cameras. Dude, get like 3 of these robots and just have them dumbly point at you and follow you.
I mean, these would be great for our NAB coverage.
Yes, exactly.
I got Justin, my camera operator, but if we got a couple other cameras, just follow us.
Yeah, and even as you're walking the NAB show floor, you just have 2 robots behind you that are just constantly pointing at you, and they're targeted to you, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's easy coverage.
I think there'd be a constant horde of people around watching
today. Yes, but 5 years from now, I'm telling you, this is going to be So that's one. The other thing I was thinking of is like when you're in a concert venue, big, let's say the O2 Arena, and you're shooting up at the stage from. Typically in a concert venue, you have like 5, maybe 10 camera operators, and all they're literally doing is just getting coverage of the star that's performing. Robots just put maybe half of them way back into the audience, and because they're on their feet and not on a complex, track system or dolly or whatever, they can just walk to the venue wherever they, seat 17B, and just from there point their camera and do their thing.
Yeah, it's like the next level of PTZ cameras, the pan tilt zoom,
Exactly.
where it's like a remotely app controllable camera, but you can only move it as far as your tripod, wherever it's mounted to.
Yeah.
But if you have that on a robot,
Yeah.
and then same thing that we were talking about before with a concert venue.
Yeah.
There's if it's a humanoid, it just shows up. You don't have to lay track. You don't have to do any like crazy builds in the venue for it. You just unpack your robot
and you know how
it's ready to
exhausting
go.
it is to like sit through like a 4 or 5 hour concert with like a 20-pound, 30-pound camera pointed at the like that's insane. So a robot can do that easily. And then the other thing you're saying with the Leica scanner is this robot is both a tripod and a person.
Yeah.
Because it can stand still.
Yeah, it can freeze.
Yeah. So if you have a really heavy, complex cinematic rig, what it could do is walk around with you and then just hand it to you. You shoot it and then hand it back to it, and it'll hold it indefinitely.
Yeah, it'll be the Steadicam assistant. Come hold my Steadicam rig while I'm taking a break.
There's definitely a place for a humanoid robot on a film set.
Yeah, this is interesting. I was thinking too, when we're talking about like it's not understanding what it's shooting. Is it someone operating it? I mean, another potential use too that merges the humans and the robots is we do something with like the phone where you like record your shot, human operator of like, this is the shot I want to do. Something that we kind of do in a virtual environment.
Oh, I love that.
But then the robot just replicates it.
Yes.
And repeats it
over and over.
Just do the movement with your phone or your iPad or something with sensors.
And use a natural language model to instruct it to say, do that slower, do that 2 feet lower, da 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 da, and it'll just keep going.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm brainstorming. Now the idea.
Now it's way cool. Now cool is high, dumb is low. See?
All right, I judged you too early, WPP. Yeah, this is very interesting. Very curious to see where this goes. And the robots and stuff we've talked about a bunch, and it's just funny to see this come out now after we've been talking about this.
On D-Noise, there is no shortage of robot coverage, so stay tuned for more robot coverage.
Next story, kind of a grab bag story, is coming back to copyright law in the US. There's a few things going on here. One was OpenAI, Google, and a bunch of other AI companies petitioning the government to loosen copyright laws to basically put usage of copyright material into AI training into the fair use bucket so that basically they could train on copyright material and it counts as fair use and not face these existing lawsuits or future lawsuits that they are facing.
Right.
And then on the flip side, there was an open letter from 400 or so people in Hollywood petitioning the Trump administration to protect copyright, existing copyright on creative material that the US has, an advantage of like cultural
both sides.
material. Yeah, basically you have the AI companies being like, hey, let's loosen up copyright law so we can train.
Yeah.
And they framed it in the sense of like, we need to be competitive against China because China's training their own models and they don't have the same protections or relation with copyright law that we do in America. And the Hollywood creative industry is like, we've kind of dominated the world culture, through human creativity.
Yep.
We need to protect that and not just like give it all away for free to AI companies.
I mean, this is such an interesting time we live in, and I kind of agree with both. And I also disagree with both.
Yeah. All right. So where are you at them both?
Okay. So first I'll start with the OpenAI Google ask is loosening fair use law. So quote unquote, their models are ethical and they could scrape the internet forever and not be penalized for it. Their reasoning is, well, China's doing it. China's going to be ahead and they're going to beat us. Da, 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 da. But then my argument is like, okay, so China's current human labor laws are probably terrible and they can make an iPhone cheaper. So is a phone manufacturing company in America saying like, hey, let's delete OSHA and all the federal laws that have made for a humane work environment because China's just doing it cheaper. Like, you can't compare a country that has no respect for law and just general common sense rules just to make your stuff work at that level. You have to fundamentally believe that the laws and regulations in the United States exist for a reason and it builds the society that we thrive and prosper in. And because of that, we are then further incentivized to be more creative and better at our job and we'll have a superior product. That's my take on it. It's a super philosophical take on it. But I fundamentally think that OpenAI and Google is in the wrong here. But at the same time, I could see their point, like after DeepSeek, like what's next? What is China going to come up with that's going to completely disrupt what we're doing?
I'm in the middle of it, and it's more nuanced than a yes no question of like, should we allow copyright for free, or should we like have to pay, should they have to pay the same as if they were like a streamer licensing the content or something,
right?
Which would probably be cost prohibitive or too expensive for what they're trying to do. I feel like there's more nuance in this because there's multiple parts of AI, and it's like part of it is like, okay, just the training and the training soup or equivalent of like, okay, they just throw all the data into their model and train it, and it's just kind of like a big bowl of soup, and you can't really pick one element out. It's just all thrown in there, and the more you kind of throw in there, then predictably the better your model is going to be in creating stuff. But then there's what you do with that of the output. And so there's like, and we talked about this before, of cases of like, okay, you're kind of just brainstorming or previs, or you're thinking, and you're just like spitting stuff out, and you're not going to really do anything commercial with it, or you're just kind of,
it's never going to be final pixel.
Yeah. And you're just kind of brainstorming with that. And that's one case. But then there's the other case where it's like, okay, I'm trying to spit something out, and I want this to be final pixel. I want this to be like a shot that I'm going to use in a final film. And then there's the gauges of what's in your prompt. And we've talked about this before, but of like, is it something that's, you're just bringing your own creative prompt and you're trying to adapt something that's your creative vision and help speed up the process to spit something out? Or are you doing stuff like, give me a Pixar style, like animated character, and you're like using very established creative
intentionally
IP looks,
stealing or copying,
or just laziness of like using someone else's IP characters to use the AI to spit out. It could be a Batman short film.
Right.
And if you're spitting out existing IP, which would, if you were to do this by hand and try to like, let me hand draw my own Batman cartoon and try to sell it, you couldn't, because you're violating copyright law.
Well, so, there is the parody law.
Yeah. I mean, a non-spoofy I'm trying to do a
legit Batman.
Yeah, I'm trying to do like, I'm just going to draw Batman as a legit Dark Knight character and try to make my own short film.
Yeah, you would get in trouble.
Yeah, it'd be like, okay, it's not a spoof. You're violating copyright law. So there's so many. I feel like there's just like, there's all of these nuances and applications of what you can do with this. Who should pay and where should you pay? It's more nuanced than, okay, they should just pay to train on the data. I'm thinking like this would be great idea, or this would be better, is like if there's better tracking of like what goes into the AI training soup, and then some form of like token call out or something where it's like, if you start calling out Pixar or specific words, you got to pay more for that.
And pay Pixar.
Right. Some sort of trackable licensing. I don't even know if that's possible, but some sort of like being able to have better content authority or track like what goes into the soup, what comes out of the soup. And
I think as convoluted,
I mean, it would be like pennies or like Spotify streaming or something like that, but something that's tracking and seeing like whose material is getting used and how can you compensate for that?
There is something that is in its infancy, Adobe introduced, that is akin to what you're saying.
The content authority.
That's it.
Yeah. That was also on the flip side of all of the deep fakes and other issues, to prove like that something was legitimately shot. Like a partnership with like Canon and other cameras manufacturers to have a certification embedded in the footage to be like, this is real. It's the blue check
mark equivalent of
like
AI.
This was shot with a real camera. This was unaltered footage.
Yes. So that's in the right direction. I know it's
right, and that could be in the footage, and that could be tied. Right now, it's to prove that the thing was authentic, but that could also maybe be if you did want to train or license your footage to train, it's trackable.
Yes.
That it came from you.
You've given the authorization, and it's good to go.
Yeah.
It seems super impossible right now to picture a world where everything you just said about tracking the training soup and then tracking the prompting and the inference, it seems impossible right now because we're in its infancy.
We're in the infancy, but also we're like 2-3 years into this, and cat's out of the bag, Pandora's box is open. I think even a year or two ago, the AI companies were asked like, well, can you like, if like the New York Times is like, we don't want our data in there, can you take it out? And they're like, no,
it's GPT 3.5 or whatever's already built. It's being used by millions of people.
Yeah, and it's not like, we can just pull your data out of the training set.
Right.
It's a soup.
So then this Trump petition thing from the Hollywood elite, it seems like maybe it's too little too late, right? Like it's just a show, song and dance.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the concerns. I mean, on the flip side, I'm thinking too, it's like, well, the studios that own your content are probably trying to make their own models too with their own libraries,
right?
Like,
and
that they control.
Like if Ben Stiller shoots a film, for Warner Brothers owns the likeness of Ben Stiller in that film. And so
like
then
that character.
Zoolander, whatever.
Yeah.
And then if Warner Brothers wants to make a Zoolander, it's a terrible example, but a Zoolander AI model.
The blue steel look.
The blue steel look, right? They have every right to do it, and Ben Stiller probably can't say anything about it.
Right. I mean, obviously these all go down to the details of their contracts and stuff and each individual person. But yeah, for the most part, the studio owns the IP of the character.
But then what if Warner Brothers licenses Zoolander amongst 100 other films to OpenAI to create a film and TV ChatGPT model? Warner Brothers makes money by providing the training data. OpenAI get legit Hollywood training data. So what's the actor supposed to do in that case?
I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
At this point, too, what benefits would the AI companies get from accessing the copyright material that they believe a lot of them have sort of trained on copyright material anyways? And this, I don't know if this is like a ask for forgiveness kind of deal, because it's like, well, what other, with the letter with OpenAI and the other AI companies saying that the copyright law should be changed more to fair use, what other stuff are they looking to get, and how much benefit is that going to add at the point that we've gotten to now?
That's a great question. Like, what is down the pipe for them that we can't see?
Yeah, like what else how much better will this stuff get, or will you need by having access to some of the stuff? And even if it's like a final edited movie, is that really going to be a benefit to you? And that ties into one other piece to this puzzle.
The parallel that I'm making here, it's kind of a stretch, but hang with me.
Okay.
So in the early 2000s, you and I definitely was downloading stuff on Napster and and torrents and stuff, right? Music. So as a youth, I was transitioning out of physical media like CDs into early digital files. Super illegal, right? But everybody in my age group, they were doing it because we had very crude MP3 players at the time. Our cars, that unit, we just swapped it to MP3 units. And so like one CD can now hold 1,000 songs instead of 10. Super exciting times as a teenager. And we knew like it was sort of wrong and, but we were just kids at the time. Fast forward to today, their physical music media is like, it's niche. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music.
These pretty much expected you could just listen to anything,
right?
Any music that ever happened.
All the stuff that you mentioned with like rights management, licensing, it's been worked out for the most part with something that was as wild as early streaming and torrents were. Now the issue is Spotify is not paying their artists well, right? We all know like the artists made way more money with physical media and all that stuff. So Daniel Ek, CEO of Spotify, came out and said recently something to the effect of, paraphrasing here, is like, look, you guys love to blame Spotify for not paying artists, but we pay the record labels very well. And the record labels are the ones that license the music and own the rights to the music, not the artists. So if the record labels are not paying the artists, then we
take it up with them because they're taking more of the cut than they...
Kind of a fair point. So that goes back to what I'm saying here with Ben Stiller and then Warner Brothers and then OpenAI, right?
Like they should take it up with the studio to negotiate
at some point,
a training deal or something on their behalf.
The studios will turn themselves into training data gold mines.
I mean, I think this is also, I know this was an issue with the strike, and this is probably going to just be a future point in contracts and deals and stuff of like, okay, we make the film too, and you own the rights, but training on AI data is like another revenue backstream, just like licensing to Netflix or VOD or all the other revenue backstreams for movies. Training licensing data will probably be another stream.
You take a show like Friends, which has thousands of hours of footage, and let's say Netflix wants to make the next generation of Friends. Can it build a AI model from the existing Friends data set and then just start to output some insert shots here and there just to kind of fill in the gap and lower production cost? Probably. And is the Matthew Perry estate and Courtney Cox and all those people who were in Friends are going to have issue with it? Probably. Would they have any power to change that? Probably not.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, depends on everyone.
These are things that are going to come up on us very fast, and it's a world where visual media is not there yet, where music and the audio industry was there 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. And I know, yeah, different actors have had different responses to it. And I know there are some that have leaned in and have created or licensed their likeness to, I know there's some with the voices that license their voice to, I think it was like one of Meta's AI voice chatbots. And like some of the actors license their voice to that. I know, I believe too, not necessarily with AI, but digital likeness and also sort of having like a full body scan as kind of insurance. I remember like after Paul Walker passed away and they had to finish the Fast, whatever that number 7 Fast and Furious movie was, or 6. And
just so the estate can keep making money.
Yeah, but also just a way to, I mean, in that case, it was like he passed away and they had to finish the film. And I believe there was like a whole process where they kind of sourced, because they kind of did some digital replications, like with his brother and then some like face swapping. But this was like years ago. And they had to like dig up material. And so I believe now it's like, okay, actors, just big name actors have a full, like, let's have a digital scan that the studio wants to have as like that insurance. And I think that would be the next step up to the actors in the agreements of like what's licensable, what's trainable, like, and how they're going to be compensated for that.
Yeah, if I was an actor, I would absolutely have my digital scan done and be in such a high quality that if I pass, that could be used to generate revenue for my family.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's like capture it all, save it now, and you know, be able to have something that could be monetized.
Like look at Ian Holmes. Ian Holmes was in the Alien Romulus movie, you know, as the like, well, I don't want to give the movie away, but he has a major role there. And they used his body scans and facial scans from Lord of the Rings to build all of that. He passed away a few years ago, but he was in the movie. And I believe Ian Holmes' estate profited from Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
So
there is another story, and that's why I've been scrolling because I'm trying to find the name of the companies. So there are some companies who are trying to be data brokers from creators to AI companies to source together footage that people are okay with and license it to the AI companies. One of the companies is Trovio. I think one of the other companies is Moon Valley. And
Moon Valley just recently dropped that clean AI model.
Okay.
That Asteria Films is using. Supposedly it's 1080p native, like it's super high quality model. So I'm really excited about this company, Moon Valley. Yeah.
And so they're going more towards YouTube creators and licensing the footage. The interesting thing was the stuff that's usually more valuable for the AI companies is not necessarily the published YouTube video, but the raw footage, the B-roll, all the B-roll clips, all the outtakes, you know, because it doesn't have edits, it doesn't have text on the screen.
Right.
It's just good, raw, high quality, like 4K data.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of the companies are really interested in.
I mean, so it's for like just every take in a film, you and I know this well, there's probably 20 takes on that media card that was never used.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not necessarily, I mean, and obviously that is sort of a bit of a security proof too from the AI companies just going online and scraping stuff and training anyways. It's like, okay, well now that's a kind of another, literally a paywall where it's like, well, if you want the good stuff that your AI really wants of just like raw, unedited footage, that's not going to be available anywhere for you to scrape and try to beg forgiveness later. Like you're gonna have to pay up for that. And so that could be another middle point or revenue stream for, I mean, it's definitely a revenue stream now for some creators. Apparently it could go from anywhere from, they only work with creators that have at least like 1,000 hours of footage.
Yeah.
And it can go, I thought it was kind of actually like decent pricing, $1 to $2 per minute or as high as $6 a minute.
That could be some serious money there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not
I mean, like during the beginning days of the internet, who would have thought data would be the biggest gold mine, right? Like where you and I eat, shop, drive to, like all that data that Google and Apple Maps is collecting, that they're selling that to advertisers, I'm sure. Same way, you know, who would have thought that generative AI training soup would be the next gold mine? Perhaps it will be.
Yeah. So there is a middle ground here where it's like people are paying to license this footage.
Yeah.
And the unaired stuff is safety. So maybe with Hollywood movies too, it's like, okay, well, let's take all of that terabytes of high quality raw data.
Yeah.
And that could be another revenue stream.
Those studios have like these giant magnetic tapes backup storage that, you know, as you know, magnetic tape to like go back 10 years, you have to like rewind the tape for a long time, but it's all there. Petabytes.
I remember seeing a story years ago on how the archival costs of digital are way more expensive than film. Yeah. Because film is like, you just take the reel, you put it in like a climate controlled closet, you're done. Digital, it's the format changes, maybe the format that it was backed up on is obsolete, hard drives fail, disks fail, like LTO tape is pretty reliable.
And you need redundancy, you need two different geographic sites.
Yeah, you need to spin them up, make sure it's still working. And it was just like, with digital, people shoot more in digital, there's more stuff.
It's the LED light paradox.
Yeah. It's not, it's like, oh, you think digital's way cheaper.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Okay. So another just copyright update, but this is obviously always changing and expanding.
We really get a kick out of covering AI legal battles and all the gray, murky areas here on Denoised, only because, like I said, the future is shaping in front of us, and it's shaping in these little micro battles that are being fought. So we try to give you the best news and the best sort of analysis on every single micro battle so that you can then decipher and judge for yourself where AI is heading and is it heading in the right direction.
Let us know what your thoughts and comments are about this. So we've got the YouTube comments, probably best spot, Spotify.
It's totally cool if you don't agree with us. Let us hear it, and we'd love to chime in.
Last story, no controversy. What do we got with this one, Addy?
All right, so Stage Precision, which is a fairly small and unknown tech manufacturer in the virtual production industry, just dropped something that's wild, and it's really powerful. So they're a piece of software that controls the stage. There's a new version of it called SP Grid. And from the look of it, there's a YouTube video that I'll link to here, and Joey will show you. To me, it feels like you can do everything that a high-end system like Pixera or Disguise or any other solutions can do, and much more. It has really strong software integration, API integration. It's also really easy to use if you don't like software. It has node-based controls. So they've really cracked something really major here. And the crazy thing is, nobody knows about it.
And this is a solution so you could run this on your own hardware. You don't have to have a vertical integration of proprietary software or hardware to run it. You can just get their software, build it on your own hardware.
I believe they sell their own servers, but I think SP is a software license model. So you have a really fancy computer. You can just run it on that. What Stage Precision is really known for is calibrating and mapping stages. So it's really neat how they calibrate the stages. In a typical, if you want to build a stage in Unreal or Disguise, or I think even in Pixera, what you do is you scan the LED volume with a LIDAR system, like a Leica, and then you bring in that OBJ file into your 3D environment. And so the pixels land exactly where they need to go. This one's way cooler. SP does it by throwing up unique QR codes on each tile. And then the camera looks at it, and then using computer vision on the back end figures out the curvature, the shape, the subtle differences in each tile.
And then you also don't need a LiDAR scanner.
Correct.
You can just run it off a regular camera to scan. Okay.
It's just a test. It's just a very fancy test.
Are they the only ones that run this calibration system?
I'm not sure if they're the only ones, but they're really well known for this. And if you're looking at a concert venue where you built this really complicated, concert LED arrangement, to LiDAR scan something, build the OBJ file, and import it would take you hours and hours and hours. This is minutes, I think. So that's what they're known for.
That's cool.
And now they're rolling out an entire suite of stage management on top of that. So then now you can bring in Unreal Engine, third-party integrations. So if you have OSC or any other protocol, it will work with Stage Precision. To me, it seems like everything that's good about virtual production technology, right? Camera tracking, real-time game engines, awareness of a 3D environment, motion control, motion tracking. All of that is really good for location-based installs. This is a really hot market right now for a lot of VP manufacturers, SP included. Stuff like airports, movie theaters, perhaps, fancy corporate lobbies, executive briefing centers inside really expensive, Fortune 50 companies, even stuff in theme parks. The most extravagant example of a location-based install is something like the Sphere, right? But there could be smaller versions of that, stuff like Cosm. So a software like this is so versatile that you can not just use it for film and TV, but mainly at, countless location-based installs.
Do you need something this complicated for a location-based, an airport wall or a lobby of a theater? Because that to me seems you kind of build it once and then it's done. Like,
yeah, it's a good argument that you make. There are levels to how fancy a corporate lobby can get. So if you're wanting something experiential, meaning if the content changes with human interaction, if the content changes over time, and it's truly generative, then you need something this fancy. But if you're just playing back a video, there is millions of AV solutions that, it was just like a little USB thumb drive.
Yeah, a little server that's
with,
spinning out a video on loop or something or some.
Absolutely. I think for the coolest and the next generation of stuff, you do need Disguise or SP Grid or Pixera or whoever.
So even if you're getting more complicated of just like, I just want these videos to run during the day, I want these videos to run in the night, you kind of start to need to get something more complicated.
But what if you want to touch the panel and then the content changes around where you touched? Who's tracking that finger, right? You need a motion tracking system, and then you need something generative that changes the content based on the XYZ location of your touch. All those things are possible with tools like these.
Thinking of that, I think that's more advanced than this, but that Delta, was that Delta install? I forgot which airport they did where it was you walk through like a portal, and then it was like it could track where your face was and then display like where you need to go for the airport.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was like an interactive.
If it was Atlanta, it's probably a Disguise install. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, the level playing field is super high in the world of fancy audiovisual installs. And so this is an area where VP manufacturers are colliding with traditional AV manufacturers for who has the most capable solution.
Yeah. Are there big AV manufacturers who do this stuff, and now the VP manufacturers are kind of encroaching on their turf?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the companies that come to mind is like Extron Electronics or Crestron, or some of these massive companies that sell millions of units a year, and their highest end product is probably this good. I don't know. But again, VP was such a niche boutique industry, and now there is such a large use case for it, right? So these manufacturers can now make way more money on the LBX side of things than film and TV.
Yeah. I mean, a lot more lobbies and stuff that need a display than...
Yeah. So if you've never heard of SP Grid, you heard it here first.
All right. Well, as always, links for everything we talked about are available at denoisedpodcast.com.
We love chatting through AI ethical debates and controversies today. Leave us a comment if you agree or not. We love to engage with you.
And AI robots. We love talking about AI robots as well for film production.
Send us more robot links. We'll cover it.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll catch you in the next episode.